When you go to YouTube, you're usually going to see my face, and I have a couple of familiar faces that I've done podcasts with. So when I start the video, I say, welcome to the Coin Republic podcast. I introduce the guests. So I guess today we have an inclusive podcast where I will be interviewing you. There's a media booth down there. So once you're done with this event, find me over there, click a couple of pictures, share on the internet, make sure you tag this name so we can blast it on our socials. Again, you can find this on our Instagram, The Coin Republic, on YouTube, The Coin Republic, or you can go to our website. We have hundreds of thousands of viewers on our website every single month and millions of impressions. But most importantly, this couldn't have been done without our partners in crime, Orbis86, and our sponsors, Hedera and Capitak. And without you, who showed up here. So thank you again. Please enjoy the event on behalf of the entire Coin Republic team. This is Shor Vijay, a broadcast director for the Coin Republic, signing off. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, this is Mukta, and I handle all things marketing at Orbis86. And I'm thrilled to see you all here and talk about Orbis86. So, our main goal, I would say, is to onboard people onto Web3 through a unified cross-chain ecosystem with the core pillars of arts, entertainment, and education. In the world of art, we started as an NFT project, and we are onto multiple chains of now, and XRP is our next goal. The second thing about entertainment, so we have teamed up with the writer of Nick Fury from Marvel Universe, and they are creating a comic book universe for us. The next interesting thing is a Discord game that we are developing. We're currently working on it. The game is almost ready, and the MVP is going to launch it in Q1. We want to unite the Web3 gamers as they are in silos currently. As our mission is to, create a unified cross-chain ecosystem, we just want to unite the gamer community, and so that's about it. In terms of education, as Sonia mentioned, we host these community events, and you may just, scan the QR code. You can take the event survey if you want to help us in any way, like if you want to sponsor, partner with us, or if you want to speak up at our future events. You may connect with us. We have our next events in London on the 5th of Feb and in Seattle on 14th of March. So hopefully we see you there. So that's about all. Thank you.
So that's the QR code that Mukta was referring to. If you guys haven't collected the cool swag bag that we have put together for you, then you have to scan that QR code, make a tweet, and then collect your backpack. Don't be greedy, there's just one bag for each person, each attendee. That being said, there's also an event link on the survey, which, of course, after the event ends, we'd love to hear your feedback. Our goal, obviously, is to become a better person, a better company, a better community every single day. So your feedback definitely helps us a lot. That being said, there's also a social experiment that we are running. Towards the end of the event, after the event, if you feel that you have benefited in any way from the event, there is a PayPal link where you can go and just pay $10. Those $10 will be used towards the next event. I'll be very honest, I'm still waiting for people to actually click on that link. So that's why I said, it's a social experiment. We just want to see how many people really want to give that. Last year, we onboarded over 3,000 people to Web3 across our events. Again, most of the events, on an average, we get an attendance of 150 to 200 people. And this year, we are fortunate that with the support of our partners, we are going global. And finally, I want to give a quick shout out to our event partners. As I said, we have a large ecosystem partner, but in order to put this event in particular together, we had HeadStarter help us out. We had Offchain Global, Vaibhavv should be somewhere there in the crowd. They helped us market the event. Same with OG Club. Offchain Global has 60 plus chapters globally. OG Club is based primarily in India, hosted over 85 events last year. And 3-Week Studio, you guys will probably see more of them during Token 2049. They are the ones who put together Web3 Carnival in India, if you were there for India Blockchain Week just last month. Finally, are there any founders in the room looking to connect with investors? Okay, a few of them. So that's good. One Piece Labs is an incubator accelerator based in San Francisco. And every month we have a Pitch Dojo event for Web3 founders. The event is free to attend. The event is also free to pitch at as long as you are selected for pitching. And they have in-person and online pitches. The founding partners of One Piece Labs are investors themselves, and every month they lead they are lead investors as well as they join in follow-up investments from seed to CDC. So that's another partner that we work with. And finally, without further ado, I would love to invite my lovely panelists on stage, Tudor, Vignesh, Oliver, Mohammed. Could I have the pleasure of you guys joining me up here on stage? Guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself to our lovely audience over here. And I will start from the other end. So Oliver, why don't you go ahead and take 30 seconds, 40 seconds, introduce yourself and let the people know what are you doing here within the Hedera ecosystem.
Sure, thanks a lot. Hi everyone, thank you all for coming. My name is Oliver. I run the social media accounts for Hedera. Technically work with Swirlds Labs, but I run the socials. I previously worked for a payments infrastructure provider, qualifying leads for crypto custodians, exchanges, and Web3 related. And yeah, I'm still surprised sometimes. Yeah, excited to see you.
Thanks, Oliver. You might have to bring the mic a little closer to your mouth next time you speak. And then finally, we have Mohammed right next to all of us. And Mohammed, could you please do us a favor?
Sure. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for this opportunity. It's quite interesting to see different faces. My name is Mohammed. I'm founder and CEO of Deca4 Advisory. Basically, Deca4 started in 2018. We're a consultancy in the tokenization blockchain. But our start was in the security tokens, real-world asset tokenization, and now we're covering a full range of projects. And we're currently incubating a few projects, which we might be talking about one of them during this session. Thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed. Vignesh?
Hi, my name is Vignesh, and I head the business for the HBAR Foundation. So HBAR Foundation is the largest ecosystem fund of the area. So we have been existing for the past 2 years. I've been with the area for 3 years. And my mandate is to identify companies and invest in them. So far we have acquired $343 million. And we're happy to support further the ecosystem in the region and beyond the region as well.
Thank you, Vignesh. Thanks, Tudor.
Thanks, hey everybody. This is Tudor. I'm the founder and CEO of HeadStarter and Builder Labs, among a couple other initiatives. Primarily in the Hedera ecosystem, we are, as HeadStarter, a Web3 crowdfunding platform and accelerator. Some people might call us a launchpad. We help projects with different services so they can go to market, ultimately facilitate their connection between the public community, decentralized funding, and helping them with their successful launches on the Hedera network. We have been operating on Hedera since DeFi on Hedera is possible, and we have also founded on Hedera something that we call the Hashgraph DeFi Alliance, where we are looking to really bring up to speed the Hedera DeFi space to international standards when you compare them to other layer 1 networks, because Hedera has a lot of exciting intrinsic values, and we're very excited to be able to showcase some of these values.
Thank you, Tudor. Guys, before we jump into full-fledged Q&A, I want to just have a quick show of hands. How many of you are acquainted with Hedera? Okay, a few hands go up, quite a few hands. Okay, so you know the audience, right? And everyone up here on stage has to do the job of making sure that by the time these lovely people leave, they are impressed with what's being built with the ecosystem. Okay, I think I'm going to jump straight into the meat of the conversation. One of the things that excites everyone is when people see that money. Like money always, I don't know if there's anyone in the room who's a Satan who doesn't care about money. I do. That being said, just this year, Hedera has started with a bang. We have great news coming out of Davos. And Oliver, I'm going to jump straight to you because just about a week ago, it was announced that 4 billion HBAR is going to be injected into the Hedera ecosystem. Now, we have investors here in the room, we have founders, we have liquidity providers in the room over here. I would love to ask you, what is the roadmap that these funds are going to move through? What is Hedera investing in? What are the grants being awarded for?
So, is this close enough? Close enough, right? Okay. So, Hedera is obviously very committed to ecosystem development. We have a number of organizations that are committed to finding projects, funding them, and basically making them a reality. So that would be the HBAR Foundation, which is part of the HBAR Association and the DLT Science Foundation. And in the spirit of decentralization, it's not like we have a heavy hand saying this is what you must do, this is what you have to, this is what you have to do. These organizations are given a certain amount of autonomy in terms of what they want to fund and what goals they want to set in order to provide that funding. So that could be DeFi, NFTs, enterprise use cases, academia. So it's not like there is a strict, we're going to do this and this and this. And because we have these 3 organizations that are split and autonomous, there really is no limit on what can and can't. So if you're interested in the network, and I hope you will be more informed at the end of this session, and you think that you can benefit from Hedera, then there's a lot of options.
Oliver, a quick question. As of today's date, where Hedera is trading at about 8 cents per HBAR, what does 4 billion HBAR equate to?
So if I remember correctly, it was a little over 4 billion HBAR, but I think it comes out to around 400 million.
So close to 400 million in grants funding is available on Hedera. So if you guys are looking to build on top of a layer 1 network, especially one with extremely low gas fees that is pegged to the dollar. So even if tomorrow Hedera jumps from 8 cents to $1, and at its all-time high, HBAR has been at 50 cents, per transaction, in most of the cases, you are going to pay a grand total of $0.0001. That's how low the transaction costs are. And that's why on the mainnet today, you literally have above 40 billion transactions. I don't know if any other chain has more transactions than that. Yes, not even close. Like Ethereum recently crossed 2 billion, and I love Ethereum. Of course, if you are developers who are building on Ethereum, Hedera also has a fully compatible smart contract engine, and the best part is you don't even need to get a new wallet. You can work straight off of MetaMask. Now, since we're talking about the funding, I'm going to come to Vignesh, because Vignesh, as you said, the HBAR Foundation is the entity that routes most of this into the ecosystem. You're responsible for ecosystem growth. So can I ask you, what is your focus area? And also, if you can introduce the HBAR Foundation to our audiences here, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so the HBAR Foundation was set up 2 years back. The intention of this foundation is to create a growth network of data. As people have pointed out, many people know data. So our objective is to support companies, startups, enterprises, anybody to build some innovative applications on us. And for that, we give grants. So usually the grants is milestone based. 10% of the grants usually is given as priority if you like the project, and 90% of the grants is given on milestones. So milestones can be based on transactions. It can be based on number of wallet or users that you can bring into the network. So there are different, just not one fit all mentioned. So each foundation, like I'm part of the foundation, which is the largest ecosystem fund. Then you have HBAR Association, you have DLT Science. Each of this, I would say, fund has a different objective. And I can speak for the foundation. Our objective is to build the ecosystem, grow the network, have as many transactions as possible, increase the number of wallets, have monthly active users, daily active users. So these are the different criteria that we have. And as part of it, we have multiple sub-funds, focus areas. We have crypto economy fund that's focused on decentralized finance. We have fintech fund, focused on stable coins, central bank digital currencies. Then we have a consumer engagement fund that is focused towards retail adoption, loyalty, NFTs, metaverse. Then another focus area, which I think is the key differentiation, is the sustainability angle. So we have a very strong focus on sustainability. In fact, we are being one of the co-sponsors of the corporate day that happened here. So we have multiple focus areas, and we have fund leads for each of these focus areas, and we have a very clear due diligence process for each of these funds.
One more fund that you forgot is the Female Founders Fund, and I definitely can't forget that one. So if again, you're looking at information about this fund, you can go to the website and you can take a look. Now, since we are talking about the grants being awarded to incubate projects in Hedera and also accelerate them, I'm going to go straight off to my friend here, Tudor. And Tudor, I'm going to ask you, how does HeadStarter fit in the mix here? Because HeadStarter is the accelerator and incubator backed and part of the Hedera ecosystem. So how do you vet founders, and can you just let our audiences know what exactly is the role of HeadStarter, and perhaps even reflect on one of your success stories from the past?
Awesome, yeah, thanks for the question. So HeadStarter is, as I mentioned earlier, a Web3 crowdfunding platform primarily. We have a very good footprint and visibility in the Hedera network, in the Hedera ecosystem. The community members of the Hedera network call each other HBAR variants, and they're very closely knit. And one of the things that HeadStarter vows on doing is curating the most valuable projects and putting them in front of the community, raising awareness for them, creating for these top-notch projects a valuable user-based community, and also helping them with decentralized funding through different vehicles. Some of the low-hanging ones are IDOs or INOs. But we also offer for them acceleration services through our partners.
I'm going to interject. How many of you guys are familiar with IDOs and INOs? All right, so quite a few people are not. If you don't mind, you can just quickly touch upon.
Yeah. I was hoping that there would be more hands up that question, but so IDOs stands for initial decentralized offering, or DEX offering, some people might call it, and it is a way of community tapping into the token in a regulatory friendly manner before that respective fungible utility token has a token generation event, so before it is traded. Similarly, INOs stands for initial NFT offerings, and as I mentioned, through the projects that we curate, we want to make sure that there is a value proposition, that the communication is transparent and clear, and as well that the token, it has a immediate utility that the holders can tap into.
Okay, how many people in the room hold crypto tokens? Alright, that's quite a few hands. How many of you have NFTs? Alright, that's not bad. So how many of you are familiar with ICOs? Okay, how many of you have lost money with ICOs? Alright, so the ICOs are a step forward, right? Again, as Tudor said, the one thing that you have to focus on here is the regulatory friendly way. IDOs also ensure that your money doesn't just go towards sponsoring somebody's vacation in Mauritius or Maldives, whatever you do. Alright, Tudor, sorry for the interruption.
No, that was very good, and thanks for helping out there. It's very important, as we're coming up to this next market cycle, that we can obviously see that there's a shift in sentiment. Congrats, by the way, Orbis, on the event today. It was a very awesome showing. But 6 months ago, when we had our last event in Dubai, half of the room was full. So it's a great sign to see that we're turning the corner on the more negative sentiment. We're coming out to our next adoption cycle.
Whenever Bitcoin hits about 40K, I see events getting further. Alright, thank you, Tudor. I will probably come back to you for the question on one of the use cases. Since we just spoke about initial NFT offerings, again, how many of you have seen your NFTs just go to shit? And we are an NFT project, so I probably shouldn't use that language. Okay, just one person, okay, three people are being honest in the room, right? Unfortunately, most of the NFTs, they came, they didn't conquer, but they still lost and they just disappeared. So with that being said, I was also trying to figure out what is the future of NFTs as a technology. How many of you know that Xbox has been using NFTs for years now? I am from the Bay Area. Santa Clara County is working with Tezos to actually put car registration title as NFTs on chain. The Indian government has recently announced that they are going to put registration documents all the way from 1950 or 1965 on blockchain as NFTs because of immutability. So NFTs as a technology has a great use case. However, we are seeing new ways in which NFTs are penetrating the market, and for that, I'm going to go to Mohammed. Mohammed, you have a project, Sphera, which was also launched on HeadStarter and saw a lot of good success in Hedera. Mohammed, as an advisor, as well as an NFT project founder who just launched recently, would you like to enlighten our audience on what you think? How would the NFT evolution move from this point on?
All right. So we will also, as Deca4 part of the Hedera ecosystem. So we're doing some exciting projects. A couple of years we did some project with the help of Big Niche and the HBAR Foundation with the IFC court. I just want to touch a little bit on that. It's probably the most government.
Sorry about it. Pekka, can you please close the door? Sorry about it, guys. I'm just getting it. And I am so sorry for the interruption.
No. So as I was saying, we had a project with the IFC court that was supported by HBAR Foundation.
The IFC codes. Anyone who knows what the IFC codes are?
You should be.
Okay. Go ahead.
I would be shocked if they don't. Anyway, so it's one of the top 7 courts in the world. It's a Commonwealth law, English language court. So it's not just Dubai; it's an international court. And the fact that it's a court system using a public DLT, and that public DLT is Hedera, is really stand on that direction. We're doing a couple of more projects with the IC codes where we'll be using NFTs as a technology within the core system. So NFTs as a technology, and we're struggling for the time when people have look at the NFT as an asset by itself. It's not. It's what the NFT represents. So as a technology, it's definitely not dying. The crypto community, unfortunately, sometimes are too negative. When things are, Bitcoin above 40,000, everybody's happy. When it drops, then the whole crypto is a scam, and nothing works. So we've been seeing this. Like when we one of the projects that she mentioned is a project called Sphera. So Sphera basically is a project where Deca4, our company is incubating. We partner with the largest sport portal in the Middle East, a portal called Quora.com. I don't know if anybody knows about Quora.com. It's the biggest Arabic content sport website in the whole Middle East. Over 30 million active users. 30 million unique visitors a month. They won the award for the best sport portal from Dubai Arab Media Award. So we partner with them, and the idea is to utilize that community to build up Web3. It's a gamification concept where we're building NFTs related to sport because of the community, because of the access. Things are really happening, and we're building on Hedera. And we've done, and I know with Tudor, we really have touched a little bit on that. It was small raise as a test. It was quite successful. One of the things that we really liked with the Hedera ecosystem, we created a very nice partnership with many of the players within the ecosystem. Now, from a consultancy, we've done lots of research on the NFTs. What we have seen is the NFTs, the images, the pictures that people are buying just because of some very funny image that has no utility. These things are fading away definitely. But as a technology that represents utility, we're seeing a much higher growth. We have seen also the transactions are increasing while the price per NFT is dropping. So the issue with our crypto community is that people, look at the board apes, and the board apes dropped like 90%, so the whole NFT is dead. That's not really the case. There's growing a number of transactions. our region actually has a higher growth, especially Saudi Arabia, on the transaction of NFTs. So it's lots of potential in that.
Thank you, Mohammed. I think you did well to touch upon not just how NFTs in the world of sports, entertainment, digitals, they still have their place. But at the same time, again, TIFC, regulatory framework also, the government is exploring using NFTs, and Vignesh as well as Mohammed, they are working closely with the government in the MENA region. And for those of you who didn't know about TIFC, even I got to know about it like a grand 3 hours ago. So that's completely fine. But now that we know about it, we are all the more informed. Talking about, since Mohammed referred to Tudor, instead of asking you about the I know question, I want to ask a question probably would suit the audience here. And let me ask people, are there folks here who are attending IFX Expo? All right, I see quite a few hands. So, IFX Expo is a liquidity providers conference, right? And Hedera this year has seen a monumental surge in the decentralized finance aspect. And Tudor, as you mentioned, you also have IPOs that you run through your platform, and you're very well versed with the Hedera ecosystem or the decentralized ecosystem at large. So what I would like to ask you is, for the liquidity providers, for people who are just trying to even understand that, hey, the decentralized finance world, how does liquidity move? How can you benefit from the spreads? What are the order books like, especially on decentralized platforms, and how can they get their yield? What would be your advice, suggestion, or the information that you want to present?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So yeah, it's great that a lot of people here are involved, especially in liquidity trading. Hedera, intrinsically, as I tried to touch upon earlier, offers a few unique value propositions. Not only are the transaction fees pegged to the US dollar, but generally Hedera runs 2000 TPS, and comparatively to all the other layer ones that most of you people might be familiar with, Hedera has no mempool. And what does that mean? That means that whenever you put a trade on the layer one, that transaction cannot be firm, right? So now let's imagine a situation where you put a trade on Uniswap, you can be sandwiched in that. There can be any other exploits done upon your transaction that you're issuing to the mempool. But on Hedera, since you have this gossip about gossip protocol, your transaction is validated by one of the 30 validators today, right? So this offers some unique value proposition for anybody that is deploying decentralized finance applications on top of Hedera. And actually, HeadStarter will be announcing this week. Actually, we are launching our own grants program for DeFi protocols building on Hedera. At the moment on Hedera, you have DEXs. We soon are going to have lending protocols, and you have the launchpad. Obviously, you have liquid staking tokens. But there's so much more that can be built and will be built. Where you're going to soon see perpetuals, you're going to see leverage trading on Hedera, and all of these DeFi investment instruments are tokenized, can be tokenized through NFTs, etc. But a lot of these programs of the DeFi projects that are launching on Hedera will be incentivized through rewards farming programs. When the first DEX is launched on Hedera, there was hundreds in APR because they were also incentivized with the help of the HBAR Foundation. So getting involved in Hedera as a liquidity provider as well as an investor offers a asymmetric opportunity compared to any other layer one because of the intrinsic value that Hedera offers, and we are committed to showcasing the value that Hedera proposes. And hopefully, currently you have the GMXs of the world. Soon they should be on Hedera, and you should be seeing a much better experience. So with that being said, the Hedera ecosystem is still relatively in its nascent stage because DeFi on Hedera has been possible only after the last bull market. So only in the bear market did we start to grow DeFi. But please feel free to reach out to me, to my panelists here, and we'll connect you to the right people who are building the upcoming projects on Hedera that offer unique APR access even to your stablecoins.
So again, on DEXs, you don't just make money from the spreads. As a liquidity provider, you can make money from working with the spreads, but also the APRs are quite lucrative because initially they are funded by the foundation money or even the initial tokens themselves.
Yeah, and even lending protocols that will be coming soon on Hedera to offer liquidity on these pools. There will be some very lucrative incentives.
Thank you. Can I have someone from TCR? Tanzil, can you please help me?
You can just share.
Yeah, we can share. Just charge this. All right, sorry about that. So just to give you a context, in the bear market last year on the largest exchange, Hedera, the daily transaction volume was probably like 100, 200K on a good day. But right now, especially after the bull run, the daily transaction volume is like in tunes of 3 to 4 billion. So that is how much the ecosystem has grown, just to put things in perspective, right? And it is going to further keep growing as we come closer to Bitcoin halving, all of the altcoins scales and progress with that. Since we are on the topic of funds and grants, etc., being injected, let me ask you one thing, guys. Here, I know Tudor referred to the 30 validators. I'm just going to ask, how many of you know any of these validators? Like, first of all, the people in the room understand what validators stand for. They are the ones validating blockchain transactions. In simple terms, that is what it is, right? Blockchain, as we know, it is not run on any centralized server. You have different entities supporting it. Now, Hedera's validators include names like Google, Boeing, ServiceNow, Dell, IBM, and 30 such reputed organizations in the world are actually providing validation services for Hedera. And just about 24 hours ago, we announced another council member. So I'm going to go to Oliver to talk about that council member. And then Oliver, maybe you can round it off with that onboarding. What are the plans for Hedera for 2024, especially in the areas of payments, RW?
Sure, thank you. So just to provide a little background, so we're owned and governed, as she said, by some of the largest companies in the world. They run our validators, and they essentially form the foundation of our consensus mechanism. So that includes Google, Boeing, IBM, Dell, etc. And yesterday, or a couple days ago, lose track of time, we announced our 30th council member, Tashi, which is a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate based in Japan. And it's really exciting to see a huge company like this who has a hand in so many different verticals, from electronics to industrial solutions to machinery, say that they intend to build end-to-end supply chain and sustainability solutions on the network, which is something we're very pumped for because we are the greenest blockchain, and I'm sure we're going to get into that in a little bit. But yeah, it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Thank you. And to that extent, because we also spoke about NFTs, we spoke about IDO, I'm going to just quickly jump to Vignesh. Vignesh, you manage the consumer engagement fund, right? I would love to understand from you what is the roadmap for that. And I heard some exciting names from you earlier today when we were chatting. And maybe, if our audience is just dozing off a little bit, maybe we can bring the energy back into the room by talking about some of those exciting names that we were chatting about.
Yeah, so happy to do so. So the consumer engagement fund is pretty focused toward retail side of things. So the exciting side of things. How can you basically increase the transactions and onboard a lot of users to deeply get day-to-day users? So our focus has been on consumer engagement. It's on gaming, it's on entertainment, media, sports, and that's on NFTs, loyalty points, utility tokens, anything to do with that. So we already have some couple of good portfolio companies who already onboarded millions of users in a company in India, which we gave grants to. It's called 111. They're basically building exclusive games for us on the network. Then we also, one thing that we're looking at right now is working with talents. When I say talents, it's music producers, working with sports people, sports icons, celebrities and stuff, So we already onboarded India's biggest music talent. His name is AR1.
How many of you know AI?
So he's
an Oscar-winning music producer from India.
Yeah, so basically he also has a studio here at the Expo site, and it's called Swirlds Orchestra. It is the world's first women's only orchestra, funded by the Dubai government. He's also brand ambassador for the Expo. He was the brand ambassador for the Expo. So with him we have an exclusive Web3 contract through which we're trying to see how we can commercialize, how we can create new kinds of IPs. What we can see in the Web3 space is all these talents as a way where they are creating new kinds of IPs. It can be music NFTs. It can be digital twin avatars. So it can be anything, right? Usually the property. So how can we commercialize it? And how can we create value for these kind of talents? So he is the first name right now, but we are also talking to a lot of big celebrities, cricket, football space, which will be announcing very soon, who we are onboarding. And basically the idea is to help them earn revenues, help Hedera earn revenue, and also create kind of engagement for the fans because they have.
Thank you, Vignesh. One of the areas that has been a key focus for a lot of ledgers and blockchain this year is real-world asset tokenization. It's a $3 trillion market. And Mohammed, you have been working as an advisor and you have been exploring these opportunities for the past 3 to 4 years. I would love to ask you, Mohammed, what do you think are the RWA trends for 2024? Which assets do you think would be the first to be tokenized at a mass scale? And how do you see this adoption becoming a reality, especially in 2024? It's already a couple of $1 billion large market, but now the projected size is $3 trillion. So I would love to know your insights.
Yeah, sure. So we did lots of studies, to be honest, in the last couple of years. Most of them did not translate into an execution because the market was not ready. And what we are telling our clients, as of now, reward asset tokenization is a 2-tier structure where you create the underlying asset, let's say real estate or a company, and you go through that process, and then you go to another phase where you tokenize the assets. Now, what we will be seeing this year, we're working with some governments in Africa, for example, what I call it bottom-up approach, where we tokenize it from the foundation, where the government will recognize the token as a legal tender. As of now, this is not happening. So, what asset class? Definitely real estate is the leading as of now. Company equity tokenization has not yet picking up, but we're seeing lots of projects with a big scale that can come, including here in UAE. We've done lots of commodity. There are, but in a smaller scale, like copper or some different commodities for various reasons. What worked before is something along the shareholder management that did work. We tokenize just to have peer-to-peer transaction within an existing market. This year, we do expect real estate to become the leading one in this area.
Thank you, Mohammed. So we have a couple of minutes, and we come close to wrapping the session. But since we are on the topic of real-world asset tokenization, Oliver, I would love you to touch upon what Aberdeen is doing with money markets, and then also round it off with why companies like Aberdeen, which has billions in assets under management, and Avery Dennison, which is the world's largest RFID manufacturer, why are these companies choosing to build on Hedera, and how does sustainability play a role in that?
Right, yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that. So I guess I'll start with the foundations first. When I said that Hedera is the greenest DLT or blockchain out there, I'm not exaggerating, not even the slightest. We're 20 times more energy efficient per transaction than the next leading, most sustainable layer 1. To do one, if you did one Visa transaction, you could do 1,000 Hedera transactions with the same energy output. So this is peer reviewed, studied, this is
it's in the Messari report.
So we are very sustainable. Going on to real world asset tokenization, just to answer your question a little bit on what is going to be the next big thing. I think it's I'm not just saying this, he said it, but so Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, he said that ETFs, the next thing is going to be fund tokenization, right? I believe that is going to be the next stage of real world asset tokenization. And Aberdeen, as you mentioned, who is one of our governing council members, one of the 30 large companies that I spoke to, with I think 500 billion assets under management. They recently tokenized interests in their multi-billion pound money market fund and have begun offering it in a fractionalized way. And what they've seen is that demand for this tokenized money market fund has far exceeded their expectations, because essentially what you're doing when you're tokenizing these somewhat esoteric funds is you're democratizing the investment opportunity. These investment opportunities very often require, a certain amount of capital, or you have to be a certain firm, that firm has to be part of this firm, or et cetera, et cetera. There's so many roadblocks, but when you tokenize it, you remove it and you open up that demographic, that market for that fund much further than you ever could if it was a traditional fund. So that's what Aberdeen is doing right now. We have a lot of other real-world asset tokenization use cases in the works, but that's a key one that I want to touch on. And I feel like over the next year, that is where we expect things to expand institutionally.
Thank you. And with that, we are almost at the close of this session. We have exceeded by a couple of minutes. I'm going to request you all to share your closing remarks, but let's keep it under 30 seconds if we can. Okay, so Tudor, I'm going to give my mic to you and you share.
So it's great to be here with you. Feel free to reach out and keen to interact with everybody here who has questions about what's happening on Hedera, the initiatives that we are involved in, especially in the realms of DeFi, and it's going to be an exciting time in the markets, especially on the Hedera space, and overall in the crypto space, because the technology is so closely tied to finance and financial repercussions. We tend to forget how much we have progressed in terms of regulation, in terms of adoption, in terms of understanding and use cases. And we're very excited that now that the regulatory demographic is catching up, to showcase some of the leading use cases out there. Thanks.
Thank you, Tudor. Vignesh?
From my side, thanks again for this opportunity. So we are here looking for builders. So happy to connect with any curious people who want to build on Hedera, ask questions on Hedera, and here to support. And from our side, we will be very aggressive this year. The new funds being allocated, and we see a lot of news coming in terms of investments, social growth. So we're very bullish on this.
And just again, a quick reminder, if you are a Solidity developer who's already working on blockchain, you can almost literally just pick up your smart contracts and bring them to Hedera and start working there. In fact, even Chainlink is one of the governing council members, and a lot of articles are being worked on in association with them as well. Okay. Mohammed?
Thanks as well for the opportunity. So for us, we've done lots of research and studies in the previous years. This year for us is about developing and executing and getting projects to the market. We're very excited. I see a very high interest in this industry, and as you guys know, in the UAE, the government is pushing, and having different regulation might create some confusion, but also create lots of opportunity. So it's a very exciting time for us.
Thank you, Mohammed. Oliver?
Yeah, just to parrot, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you everyone for coming and listening. I would just say that I think we're at a really exciting time in Web3. I think the taboo is fading as crypto
approaches.
Yeah, maybe that's it, I guess. As sort of it's become less taboo, and businesses and individuals are realizing that you can really derive real world value from this technology. So whether you're an individual, an enterprise, project, team of people, look into us to build your solution on. We're affordable, we're sustainable, and I look forward to speaking with anyone that's interested.
So we like to call this the .com bubble burst phase for blockchain. Right? So just like in the late 90s, early 2000s, nobody wanted to touch anything that mentioned internet with a 10-yard long stick. I guess we are now in the phase of blockchain where a lot of the scammers have done their job. Thankfully, they have faded, and people are more aware. And it's through folks like these and also some of the more informed people in the room that you can start getting into blockchain in a more safer manner. 20 years from now, the decentralized opportunity is going to be just as big as the internet became in 2 decades. So with that, I want to give a huge round of applause for our beautiful audience. Thank you. You were very quick, very kind, and we will keep going with the program. And thank you to all of the panelists.
Yeah, I have full 2 minutes now, 1:55. So yeah, thanks for this invitation. I just received this invitation to be on stage yesterday. Well, let me give you a little bit of what we heard about the RWAs. It's going to be a big business. It's not $3 trillion. Just the property business today is $5 trillion, and commodities are $4 trillion. And if you manage to fractionalize that and put that on chain like 0.1% or 0.5%, it's huge business for blockchain. But you can execute it wrong or right. And the biggest problem is that now when we talk about decentralization and tokenization, everything, fractionalizing everything, you need to build the trust. Totally different way that we have today. We need to get rid of the middleman. And that's why you need to implement a system on RWA that will be using as decentralized mechanisms as possible. And for that, you need to use the most advanced Oracle mechanisms. And on top of that, if you want to do transactions between different chains, you need a solid technology that all the data, all the information travels from this real asset-backed system to different chains. 2 minutes full now. Thank you, guys.
We are going to jump straight into our second panel, and our panelists here are some of the trailblazers in the world of Web3. They represent different DAOs, they represent different entities, and we are going to chat with all of them about what 2024 is going to bring for the world at large. 8 billion people, how are they going to be impacted by Web3 in 2024? All right. So before we get started, I am going to go to each of my panelists and request you to introduce yourselves. You may have to share the microphone. Just we are good at sharing, so we can do that. Instead of going from the other end, I'm going to start with the other lady on stage. And I would really love to hear how to pronounce your name correctly. It's Ivory. Ivory, okay, so I almost got it. I messed up one syllable though. My apologies. Alright, Ivory, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and talk about what you're building at RAKEDAO?
Well, my name is Ibrahim. I am VP of Marketing Strategy at RAKEDAO. RAKEDAO is a Web3 racing game, and we started with camels. So right now it's pretty much camel racing game in the metaverse, and we've been building the game for over a year and a half. And we do have our token, we do have our NFTs, and we do have our MVPs that I'm very excited to launch soon. The game itself, and me myself, I've been in blockchain for over 6 years. I've previously worked at Capitak, at the financial sector, and from a DeFi startup, also in the Middle East. And excited right now to tap into gaming and I see a huge potential in that industry. So looking forward to share more about the journey and the insights I've got.
Web3 gaming definitely, one that is still receiving funding from a lot of investors, so still a hot area. All right, and with that, I'm going to go to Bhavishya. Bhavishya, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? And before he does that, how many guys have heard about Celo? Okay, that's good. It's the same number, right? In terms of the ratio, how many people heard about Hedera and how many people heard about Celo? So why don't you introduce yourself and maybe even just talk about Celo quickly, because we will of course dive more into details with Celo and take it to
happy to do that. Hi everyone, my name is Bhavishya. I also go by BK for the ones who struggle with 3 syllables in the name. I'm head of strategy and ops at the Celo Foundation. The Celo Foundation is responsible for driving growth and adoption of the Celo blockchain. For those who are unfamiliar, Celo is a layer 1 EVM compatible blockchain with a focus on driving impact on people and the planet. We are carbon negative.
And one of the ways we do that is a portion of our transaction fees go towards offsetting carbon credits. And from 2020, April 2020, when we were first launched on Earth Day, we've offset over 6,000 tons of carbon. So it's not just the dApps and users that we bring on, who we bring on to deliver this mission of prosperity for people on the planet, but it's also the operations of our own blockchain, which is in service of this mission.
Thank you, Bhavesh. And with that, I would love to go to Anton.
So first, thank you very much for inviting me, and a pleasure to see the audience, and looking for an exciting discussion. So my name is Anton Gov. I'm the founder and chairman of SwissAsset DAO. So we are a decentralized autonomous organization based out of Switzerland with more than 200 members of key people in the crypto industry in Switzerland. And our focus is to build a securitization platform that enables crypto-native companies to invest into real assets. My background originally coming from the hedge fund world, so I was a trader many years ago. Then I was at the right place at the right time. I co-founded in Switzerland back in 2013 the second ever crypto company in Switzerland, called Kelkka. Was one of the oldest and biggest exchanges in Europe. Then I ran successfully a crypto market making company, Flow Technologies, where I saw firsthand the importance of liquidity, and also happy as recently to become a resident of Dubai. So very mutual.
So I'm pretty sure Anton is a crypto millionaire. I'm not going to be tracking your wallets, but 2013 was definitely the right place, right time, and you did the right things too. So with that, I'm going to go here to Meng Chan Chu. And Meng, can I call you Meng? Is that good? Alright, so Meng, could you please introduce yourself? And you might have to hold the mic a little closer. Could you introduce yourself as well as quickly talk about digital assets Oasis?
Sure. I'm Meng. I've been in United Arab Emirates for 16 years. So came over here 2007. It was construction site at the time. Fast forward, been in the crypto space since 2017. I invested during the ERC20 altcoins timing, and got into RAK DAO last year. It's a new free zone by the government of Ras Al Khaimah. So the RAK Digital Asset Oasis basically operates for a company. We have currently about 171 different activities, all non-regulated activities, and I guess we have some X factors that we're going to talk about later.
Definitely going to talk about that. So, if you see somebody who is working with the government, right here on stage, even on the earlier panel, we spoke about Hedera working with the MENA authorities, and right here we have RAK DAO. And again, the government is actually building a special zone just for Web3 companies in particular. So now as you see all of these activities happening, you know that, hey, crypto is no longer that little illegitimate child that nobody wanted to talk about, right? It is seeing its moment to the moon. And that's why I said that right now, crypto is coming out of that .com bubble burst era, because people are seeing it for what it is and not just for the hype that we've seen in the past few years. Now, with that being said, we are going to jump right into our conversations. And since we have two people here who represent DAOs, I'm going to first ask my audience, how many of you have heard the word DAO or understand what DAOs are? Good enough. But I know there are more than 50% people in the room who don't know what a DAO is. So Anton, given your background, why don't you quickly introduce our audience to DAO? And you are doing some good movements. You're making some good movements in the world of real-world asset tokenization. So maybe you can talk about what a DAO is and then talk about SwissAsset DAO and what is it? What is your X factor in that?
Awesome. So now first to say like a very strong statement is actually that decentralized autonomous organizations are one of the biggest innovations in the crypto industry. By that, I mean is that for the first time ever in history, you can govern and direct an entity in a decentralized manner where all the token holders or the stakeholders are treated fairly and equally, and you can do that in a safe and secure way using the blockchain. And to make another strong statement, in the next couple of years, every crypto project is going to be
So that's a very, very strong statement. You know, we are in the early days of DAOs, but very, very soon, every crypto project will be a DAO. So now we are talking about innovations, but we know that innovations usually come with challenges. And if you're kind of a little bit familiar with DAOs, you might have also heard that DAOs have challenges with the legal system, with the law, especially in the United States. So you have DAOs that had members that even gathered capital, that managed that capital, but they did not do that in a compliant legal way. Because in many cases, there was not a framework or a law how to manage the DAO. So this is a very big challenge. And when we actually decided to innovate in Switzerland and create our own DAO, our key goal is to make our DAO legal. So we did a lot of research. How can we create a DAO globally, thinking globally, but in a legal way? And we have decided to import SwissAsset DAO as an association in Switzerland. And I will explain why an association and why Switzerland. Association is actually a very typical model how you can actually govern an entity to members. And I'm sure, for instance, in Switzerland, for instance, a lot of football clubs or any kind of setups where you have a lot of members, they actually are set up an association. Meaning you can conduct your commercial activities, you can run your business, you have your members, everything is transparent, everything is clear. And it very nicely matches how you imagine a DAO, how you actually think of members governing the DAO. So this is why we decided to do an association. But why did we decide to do it in Switzerland? Because Switzerland is the most advanced crypto jurisdiction worldwide. And by that, I mean, is to give you an example. In Switzerland, when you set up your DAO, make it legal as an association, you don't have to wonder who are going to be my banking partner. In Switzerland, we have more than 20 crypto-friendly banks. So it's not like you go into a jurisdiction and you're thinking, which bank will want to work with me? How do I solve this problem? In Switzerland, you are deciding with whom you want to work with. So our key innovation or key X factor is that we decided to bridge the legal world with the decentralized world and create SwissAsset DAO as an association to do that in Switzerland. Of course, there's a lot of challenges in order to move forward. How we can actually enable direct on-chain governance at SwissAsset DAO, and there we're looking for solutions and excited with technology like zero-knowledge proofs that enable you to govern or actually transact in a safe and secure but anonymous way.
Thank you, Anton. I hope that actually did shed a lot of light on what DAOs are. And yes, Switzerland was also the first country to create a city, a crypto city. Switzerland is also where a lot of the crypto companies are actually registered because they have been early movers in terms of providing regulatory guidelines and advisory for digital assets. And Switzerland has definitely been on the forefront of adopting digital currencies. And again, SwissAsset DAO, Anton, their DAO works with 200 plus crypto leaders in Switzerland. So if you are trying to get more information and you are trying to figure out how does the world work, right? In crypto, what kind of regulations can you look at? Switzerland is a country that the rest of the world is also looking at to see what kind of frameworks they can develop. So Anton has your back. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go to Bhavishya. Bhavishya, you did a great job. You can take the other mic, just the short one. So you did a great job talking about Celo and how Celo helped. The Celo blockchain helps offset carbon credits in 6,000 tons. That's a lot. Now, Celo has been around. They are known as a chain for sustainability, the green chain. We're talking about offsetting carbon credits here. There's also a lot of good work being done on Celo, even in terms of the plastic offset. And what I would love for you to do is talk about one or two success stories coming out of Celo that further this sustainability initiative. And also, in the year 2024, what are some of the big movements on Celo that we all should keep our eye on?
My challenge is always picking one or two because we have a very wide and broad ecosystem of applications. We're doing some fantastic work. I'll pick a couple ones which I individually like, and this would change depending on who you ask in the Celo ecosystem. One of them, like you mentioned, is a project called Plastics. It's based out of Barcelona. What they do is they issue an NFT for plastics recovery from the ocean. They work with verified plastic recovery projects across the world. So in South America, in India, and Europe as well. And individuals, corporates, and even entities, like they've had a partnership with SC Barcelona, which helps drive the recovery of plastic from the ocean. So you as an individual can buy an NFT for $10 or $50, which represents a kilo of plastic recovered, or entities, for example, a tile manufacturer includes 1 kilo of plastic recovery with every set of tiles sold. So if you have a CSR objective as an entity, that is something you should provide sustainability in the world. The second project, which I'm also very excited about, has launched recently, is in partnership with Time Magazine and Value School, and a range of celebrities, including Adrian Premier, where celebrities and influencers are posting climate actions on a portal set up by Value School called Gen Zero, and users can participate and do climate actions. These actions can include doing compost, having an educational seminar in your college or university, offsetting your carbon, taking public transport, because there's a spectrum of activities that you can do to drive sustainability related actions in your everyday life, and they want to encourage that, and they want to use the power of influencers and key opinion leaders to drive awareness for that. And there are a bunch of rewards associated with those actions as well, which you can check out at Gen Zero.
Thank you. And I like how they call them, it's called Gen Zero, because yes, sustainability, taking care of our environment is a problem for all the generations. We are treating our planet like we have 100 other Earths to immigrate to. We don't, unfortunately, even with the best efforts being made by NASA. All right, so I will come back to you to talk about the Celo's key moments for 2024. However, let me first go to Icarin. And Icarin, you're on the panel. You represent the fun, right? You are beautiful. You insert the fun into this panel. You are working on Race Kingdom. Tell us about Web3 gaming and what excites you in 2024, and what does the future behold for Race Kingdom?
Thank you so much for the question. Okay, I think it works, right? I'd say that we're really looking forward to 2024 because last year was quite challenging. Starting with FTX crash in December 2022, it was a rocky ride. But I think we see a positive trend, and there's a lot of expectations for gaming. And 49% of blockchain activities were accounted for gaming in 2022, according to Deca4. And along with tokenization, I think gaming would be one of the biggest trends in 2024. And I think it's one of the most seamless way to onboard users into Web3. And you mentioned that there are 8 billion people in the world, and over 3.3 billion people in the world are gamers. And I've personally spoken to 4 esports companies that are willing to onboard and test Web3 games. Previously, they had only traditional games like Dota and stuff. Now, I think they're also tapping into the Web3 games, and they have interest in their curious about Web3 games because it's just having digital ownership, playing same games, right? Like camel racing, for example, but on top of that, you have digital ownership as in terms of NFTs or tokens. So I think 2024 would be a big year for gaming, and we definitely see a lot of internal work happening, and I think we'll be able to announce big news soon, hopefully. But last year, if I remember, over 1/3 of Web3 games died. But those who survived, those who stayed, I think they will scale massively, like X did a few years back. 49%, half of the blockchain activities are in gaming. So I think this trend will continue the same.
I believe that too, and we have big brands, AAA gaming studios entering the world of Web3. Obviously, those are going to be hard to ignore, given they are not just $1 billion reach, but literally some of them have 1 billion people reach. So you're going to see a lot more Web3 games, a lot of AAA gaming studios enter the world of Web3, and we already know that even big entertainment companies, all the way from Marvel to Disney, etc., have already started dipping their tools in the world of Web3.
Also, you mentioned about the funds. For example, Anderson Horowitz, they're also like interested in the gaming and metaverse. And gaming specifically is the gateway to the metaverse, specifically open metaverse, where everybody equally can be the creator and build on the blockchain. So I think, and also a few days back, Apple they announced that they will be launching the Vision Pro in February to enhance the gaming experience. So I think everything is like putting into its great ways its place and like puzzles coming together. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a
We are putting together the building blocks right now and building a strong foundation. All right, and with that, I'm going to go to Meng next. Meng, you did bring up the X factors now. Now, right now, I am definitely impressed because what you guys are creating is an opportunity for builders from across the globe to come and build in UAE. And I know that regulations are still coming into place, right? However, some companies can still come and operate out of Iraq, depending on what kind of activities they're engaged in. And just like what Switzerland did, right? Switzerland created a safe haven, and a haven that's also regulated for companies to come and safely build and advance their blockchain technology, their ledger technology. RAK DAO is trying to do the same, and it's doing it right here in the MENA region, so that will definitely have a lot of impact in Asia. But also, a lot of my friends from America are actually, they've already moved to Dubai, if not Iraq, at least to Dubai, because we have Mara. So what I would love to ask you is, what are the X factors of RAK DAO?
Thanks. I guess we have a lot of conversation to talk about with Tuan, and before I go into the X factor, we have 15 gaming activities, business activities out of the 171 activities that we currently have. So yes, we are focusing on the gaming side. And I guess this year is going to be very, very different year, because last year was a builders year for us as well. We did our soft launch in June, end of the holiday. We currently have about 60 plus companies incorporated in RAK DAO, and we have about 40 plus in the pipeline. So this year, why is it important? Is last year is the builder year. This year we're gonna have two big announcements. I think one of that is going to be related to a legal wrapper on DAO. Yeah. So we are looking at first half of this year.
So just for context, guys, DAOs, as the term says, it's decentralized autonomous organization. It has seen a lot of traction in the past couple of years. However, in a very few countries, DAOs are actually recognized as legal entities. So whatever Alphon and Meg here are referring to is, how do you legalize a decentralized organization? And unlike a traditional organization where the power is in the hands of a few and those people are the ones signing off everything, decentralized autonomous organization, decentralized essentially stands for a group of people, no single authority making decisions in a silo. So it is a great movement forward, but we are all trying to figure out what updates need to be made in the regulations in order to support that community. Sorry for the introduction.
No worries, that's good. So 2024, I think there's quite a fair bit of things happening now. After the soft launch and the grand launch in October, I've been reading a lot of different business plans coming into RAK DAO, I think like 700 of them. And one of the things that we work on is a couple of X factors. One is we are able to open bank accounts for the Web3 companies, the operational bank account, which is very important. And the reason why we are able to do that is we realize that a lot of the startups and development, they are fantastic in terms of the technology. However, in terms of business writing, it's a challenge for some of them. Hence, we created a business plan for them to be able to fill it up, look at how they're going to be answerable to the business plan, as well as how they're going to prep them up for the bank account opening. So that's one of the things that we look at. Second of that is that we are, I think, the only government indices that accept crypto. We accept USDC, USDT, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Binance Pay through one of the partners. And I guess thirdly is to look at the eco partners as well. We have currently about 30 partners. Hedera, HBAR is one of our partners. We have Deca4 as one of our partners as well. Looking to spread out not only on the blockchain layer ones, but to work with different partners to basically build the RAK DAO community together, from the banks, from the incubators, accelerators, from the service sectors as well. Like, for instance, one of the lawyers, they are giving like half an hour to 1 hour free consultation on the regulation side or non-regulation side. So those are the contributions that we wanted to give it to the community or the RAK DAO companies. Last one, but not least, is looking at the cost of living. Ras Al Khaimah is, I would say, more affordable compared to some of the other Arab Emirates. And you look at the comparison. If you rent a villa in Dubai, for instance, in Jumeirah, it will cost probably about $500,000 to $600,000 AED per year rental. Ras Al Khaimah is probably about $50,000. So that's the cost saving mainly for, let's say, the developers team as well as the gamers, because at the end they want a place to stay, they want to be next to the beach, and as long as internet is good, they don't mind staying there.
And also, besides the fun part of it, the good thing is, when I was talking to Johar from RAK DAO, one of the things that I found fairly enticing was, besides bringing companies and telling them that, hey, you can register here and we'll get you bank accounts, etc., they're trying to create an entire ecosystem, a support ecosystem there. So they're, as Meg said, besides, of course, the legal aspect of things where you can get guidance, etc., they're also trying to make sure that they have a balanced mix of other investors and other advisors present and RAK DAO at RAK, so that the entire ecosystem can prosper. So they are putting together the building blocks for the Web3 ecosystem. All right, well, now I'm going to go to Bhavishya again. And Bhavishya, I need you to answer the second part of my question. What are going to be the key moments for Celo to look out for in 2024?
I'm wondering how much I'll like the potentially probably legally speaking. I think one of the most exciting things for us is a migration from being a layer 1 now to a layer 2 on Ethereum. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pekka.
We dropped the proposal at ECC in July last year about our intention to become a layer 2 Ethereum. We felt it was the right time. We've always been EVM compatible, but we had to make a few changes to our blockchain to be mobile first, to have really low cost fees. Sub-cent fees is what we're talking about. But now, with all the advancements in Ethereum, as well as layer 2 technology stacks from at least 4 stack providers who pitched a proposal within our governance forums, we feel this is the right time for us to come back to the Ethereum community while inheriting the security and also, let's be fair, the liquidity that comes with Ethereum, right?
Absolutely. Of course, I think we can all appreciate the fact that Celo stands for green and it stands for sustainability, and Ethereum, until the POS migration happened, sustainability and Ethereum and Bitcoin, they don't kind of go together.
And this is, again, even if you think of the broader blockchain community, right? This is a technology which is growing. I love the 1990s .com analogy, is because back then we were all struggling with 56K browsers that barely work, things that broke down very often. And then we saw that again in the early 2000s with mobile apps and mobile browsers.
We're giving our age away.
Absolutely. So I think even this technology has to go through that while it gets to maturity and adoption. So for us, migrating to be a layer 2 on Ethereum is part of that as well. We're very excited about that. The second thing we're very excited about, and I want to touch upon earlier, is our partnership with Opera Mini. For those unfamiliar, Opera Mini is a browser which has got a large adoption in parts of Africa and other like LATAM and Asia as well. Our partnership with them was launching a crypto wallet integrated into the browser itself. What that's allowed is over 1 million users in Africa right now have native access to a crypto wallet, which lets them do stablecoin savings and investments, which is great in countries where they don't have access to stable currencies or which are subject to inflation. And all of this allows us to deliver our mission on prosperity for all, which includes climate, like I talked about earlier, but also people who may have been traditionally underserved or unserved by the traditional banking system. So we're very excited to be growing this out into other parts of Africa and hopefully other markets as well in the coming year.
Thank you, Lavish. Thank you, Lavish. And Lavish, because we are almost at 28 minutes, so we'll go a couple of minutes over, right? So we're trying to wrap it up. Lavish, I will come back to you for closing remarks, but I'm going to request the rest of the panelists that please, I still want to ask you one question each, and maybe you can keep your answers short in a minute so that we can get to closing soon. Okay. And it's going to be an easy question. So what I'm going to ask you, starting from Anton, is 2024. What's in the roadmap for SwissAsset DAO? What should people look out for? And you can merge your closing remarks with that.
So happy to answer that. And first, I want to actually compliment Hank on your great work at RAK DAO. I had the honor to participate in the grand opening, and the quality of the work and innovation that's happening in United Arab Emirates is really amazing. And I think great things are going to happen here in the United Arab Emirates in 2024. Now, talking specifically about SwissAsset DAO and what are our goals here this year. First, I have to tell you that real-world assets are one of the biggest hypes or narratives for 2024. So if you go to investors or you go to builders, you mention the word real-world assets, or you just say RWA, I mean, you see their eyes opening, everybody's excited, and you think this is amazing. So this is really, really great narrative. But people who have been around for a long time, they know that tokenization is nothing new. So we have tried this and tried to do it for many times. So the question is, what's different this time? So why is today real-world assets actually such a hype? It turns out the answer to that is something completely unrelated to our industry. Is actually that in the last year, the central banks around the world have raised interest rates from 0 to pretty much 5 and 6%. So that means that real-world assets have actually started becoming very attractive as an investment. Because you cannot pitch an investment into government bonds if the government bonds have a 0 interest rate. So you really have to understand the timing for real-world assets is now because of the central banks. They printed too much money, they're fighting inflation, and they're raising interest rates. But now we have to wonder, okay, how does the real-world asset ecosystem look today? Because we're working very hard on it. We will actually, if you take a closer look, you will see that there is one player in the crypto industry that invested the most amount of capital into real-world assets. And it's actually a DAO in one of the oldest DeFi protocols called DeCa4 DAO. So DeCa4 DAO, imagine a DeFi protocol that's a DAO invested 2.5 billion into real-world assets. And the question is, what do we need to do to scale that? And there are two challenges there. First of all, a lot of people don't understand the technicality around real-world assets, is that when you tokenize real-world assets, you're not tokenizing the asset. You're tokenizing the fund that holds the real asset. And that's a challenge because we need to enable tokenization directly on chain. That means you need to take an asset and record it and issue it directly on the blockchain. Not a lot of countries around the world allow that. Again, I have to go back and say Switzerland allows that. But the problem then, that's globally, second problem, is how do you distribute or sell those tokens? How can everyday people buy that? Or maybe this is just for professional institutional investors. And the challenge is actually distribution. How do you actually, in the end, get these tokens in the hands of the right people? So the key goal for SwissAsset DAO is actually be an ambassador for direct on-chain issuance and recording of real-world assets, and work together with the governments and the regulators on distribution. In that context, I'm really looking forward to talk to Meng, how we can, discuss that. This is really now work that we need to do together with the governments and the regulators. This is not a DeFi or an unregulated.
Thank you, Anton. And if you guys missed the stat that I dropped earlier, the RWA real world asset tokenization industry is predicted to grow into a $3 trillion industry in the next few years. So that's the market opportunity that you're looking at. With that, I'm just going to go down to Meng. And Meng, you have, RAK DAO has seen a lot of traction in the past year. What does 2024 hold in store for RAK DAO?
I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year for us, besides the products and services that we offer. Just want to mention that, the crypto payment, because we accept crypto to incorporate companies, for your visa application, for your office space rental as well. You contribute close to about 1/3 to 40% of the total transaction on RAK DAO. So it's a good thing. We expect not only that to happen, we expect more activities to be done. Obviously, in consultation with the regulators, we have regular consultation with them. One of them is tokenization of real world asset, besides the others. So yeah, I think definitely 2024 will have more products and services, but obviously regulation is behind there to have a look at what the Web3 boys are doing.
Thank you, Meng. And Igor, I'm going to ask you to share your knowledge with our audience and enlighten them with what do you think are the two key trends that we will see in the Web3 gaming industry at large, and then round it off with two key things from Race Kingdom that we should all keep an eye on.
Wow. That's like 4-part question, right? I'd say for Race Kingdom and for gaming, free to play should be a big trend. If we want to onboard Web3 users, we cannot expect them to know everything about blockchain and crypto and know how to navigate through different wallets and reach different tokens. I think it's important to have free to play component, and I think it's also important to have proper utility and proper tokenomics. So tokens within the game and the entities within the game have to have their utility on top of the community, on top of the speculation. Unfortunately, we're still at early stage. I think it's very important to have proper utility and to have diversity for those assets, NFTs and tokens, especially NFTs, because the attention span of the people getting less and less. I think it's less than the attention span of a golden fish, right? So I think it's important to diversify the game and to let the gamers also build with the founders, within the platform. And then, as Anton mentioned, yes, we also have on our roadmap to create our own DAO. I think a lot of games are planning to do this if they haven't done yet. And in terms of in general, 2024, I think outside of the gaming, previously we mentioned that a lot of tokens and NFTs, they don't have the utility. I think it's very important to change the narrative and to put the positive perspective into Web3 and to actually provide proper utility. And it could be within the game, it could be outside of the game. For example, for me, when I moved to the UAE, I had to attest my diploma, and it was attested in the United States, and it took forever. And I thought to myself, if my diploma was a soul-bound NFT, it could have taken seconds, right, to verify. Yes, exactly, to verify. So I think it's important that to have proper builders and
Thank you. Thank you, Igor. I think you've definitely you've spoken to my heart, because even I'm an immigrant in the US. The things that you've spoken about, I think a lot of us have seen that journey. And also, with that being said, I would really be very excited to look at an intersection of gamification of tokenization. It also provides a pathway to onboard more people, help them understand what blockchain is, gamifying the process for them. And as you said, more than 3 billion people in the world are gamers. So that is something that comes to us naturally.
And I can also add one more thing. Actually, for Race Kingdom specifically, we're interested in the India market, because 500 million gamers are in India. And for me, as a female person, like being a woman in the industry, there are a lot of female gamers in India as well. So, and from macroeconomic perspective, like India is one of the biggest growing, one of the biggest and the most growing economies in the world, and this trend will stay for India like that next year as well. So I think for everybody, who's into gaming, I think we should definitely start using that.
And please go and check out Racing. And finally, Bhavashri, back to you. 2024, actually, you did talk about the key moments for Celo in 2024. So what I'm going to ask you is a very simple question. What is the key message that you want our audiences today to leave with and help them etch the memory of Celo in their minds if they are not already impressed?
I think our mission has been prosperity for people and planet, and I've repeated that multiple times. But I wasn't thinking about the sustainability of my own actions until I joined Celo. And working at Celo has sort of compelled me to do that. And I've realized how easy it is, like how smaller changes can start to make an impact. And we try to bring that in our work every day at Celo. We do so, I think, even outside of blockchain, we can tell people to start thinking about that. And then from a blockchain point of view, I'd say please go out, experiment, use dApps, use protocols, throw in a few cents here and there. It's not like 2021 where a single transaction would cost you $20. Just do a swap. We're talking sub-cent fees over here. And so the more comfortable we get using the blockchain, the more ahead of the curve we'll be, right? One way or the other, the technology is here to stay. There is this great responsibility on everyone in the blockchain ecosystem to improve the user experience, UI, utility, but we've also, as consumers, had to bring in change. We went in from making phone calls to WhatsApp now, we're sending letters to today video Zoom calls. So there is a certain responsibility as a consumer to get familiar and comfortable with the new technology as well.
Thank you, PK. And again, a huge shout out to our patient audience over here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. That's a round of applause for all of you. A round of applause for my fellow panelists. Thanks for joining me over here. And we can take leave from the stage now. Before we continue with our keynote, which is what was on the agenda, let me get out of your way. So we continue with our keynote. Unfortunately, our moderator, that is my apologies. I apologize to all of you. That was the reason why you have to listen to me moderate the second panel as well. Unfortunately, the UAE traffic got better of him. So I'm just going to quickly ask Vaibhavv to come up here on stage and introduce himself and take a couple of minutes to talk about Offchain Global as well as Kryptonite.
Thank you, Sonia. And I know it's not always a good excuse to save the traffic. My apologies to everyone who perhaps waited for me. A very good evening. I see a lot of familiar faces. So big hi to all my friends out here. Oliver is there, Shalini is there, Vikas is there, and we have Aishwarya there. So big hi to all of you. Anita is there. Hi, Anita. Love you guys. Super. Thank you for coming in. So for the rest of the guys who don't know who I am, is because I'm still working on my intro. My name is Vaibhavv Ali. For the convenience of my white friends, I'm called Vali, and I am the co-founder with my dear wife of Kryptonite UAE. We have event partnerships in over 103 events around the world, including Consensus, Token 2049, the World Economic Forum that is happening as we speak in Davos, and a lot of other major events around the world. With Offchain Global is the biggest Web3 community in the world. We have over 95 different chapters, and I am the head for global partnerships. I also do a lot of work around communities because there's one thing that we need to understand is that community building is not airdropping your tokens and building a community there. Community building is all about getting like-minded people together and starting a conversation and hopefully turning that into something meaningful. So that is what my process has been. I'm also a growth and partnership strategist because I've been in the marketing and sales profile in the Web2 days. I've been on stage for over 19 years of my life. So these are the things I've been doing. Is there anybody wants to ask questions? No Q&A? Thank you. Sonia, please guys, give her a huge round of applause for setting this up. We met in Bangalore last, but good to meet you in Dubai. My apologies again.
So now we have an amazing personality in our mix here, and I'm very excited to hear from him. Crypto Rich has actually helped launch over 500 crypto projects. That's the number that I got, and he's acting surprised. I'm like, oh, hypothetically, did the Coin Republic guys fool me? No, but Crypto Rich, great educator, a person who has, unfortunately, we have seen a lot of influencers who have just tried to make money from the entire industry, but Crypto Rich is a guy who has actually helped projects and helped people really get onboarded into the world of Web3. So I'm very excited for our keynote, and I would request you all to just put your hands together for Crypto Rich.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to start by saying this is going to be a little bit different. Okay, it's going to be a little bit different, and I hope I've got your attention just with that opening, because now you're going to find out how it's going to be different. So first, an introduction. So I run a YouTube channel under the name of Crypto Rich. I have 2 YouTube channels, both of them shadow banned. Thank you, YouTube. You can also find me on Odyssey and Rumble and 3Speak. I started my channel in April 2017 because I wanted to get into crypto, and I had no idea how. My background, I'm a child protection social worker. So of course, as a child protection social worker, it's a natural evolution to end up on the blockchain. And here I am. Now, if I was going to do this as a Web.10 presentation, given that this is going to be about, this event is about Web 3.0, Web 1.0, I think it would be, I would just be standing on stage and giving you information. And then you would be passive recipients of that information, like you've been so far, but don't worry, change is coming. A Web 2 presentation, I'd be on stage, the information would still be centralized, and maybe you get to ask some questions and I might answer them. If I do this as a Web 3.0 presentation, what would that be like? Now, we're going to answer that in a moment. It might be me that answers it, right? But it wouldn't be centralized. It would be decentralized. So I'm going to check something out with you. By the way, this is a risk for me. And it's going to require your participation. And if you don't participate, I will end up standing here, embarrassed. I'll have to tell you when I'm blushing because of my skin tone, you won't notice. And we don't want that to happen because I'll just get very warm. So let's just check something out. Could you all please raise your right hand? Everybody raise your right hand. If you don't raise your right hand, I will notice. Okay? Okay, you'll know which is your right hand as well. That's good. That's reassuring. Now, could you all please raise your left hand? Okay. All right. Okay, so the nodes in this decentralized ecosystem are working, at least to that point. If you consider yourself as a node in this conversation, now I'm going to ask you to do something else, a little bit more challenging. And this is going to be challenging for you, all right? Turn to the person nearest you on either side and just say hello. If you want to shake their hands, shake their hands. Just, I'm watching you. Just turn to the person next to you and shake their hand and say hello. You all done that? Yeah.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right. So a Web 3.0 presentation is going to be a dialogue, a conversation with each of you as nodes within this ecosystem. I will send out packets of data, and particular nodes
may respond and send back packets of data. I'll ask a question and somebody will answer. And then the other nodes that aren't sending out the packets of data, they're just verifying. They're providing consensus, not by agreeing, but just by their presence. Because if you weren't here, who am I talking to? I can only have a conversation with other people. So that is how this is going to go, at least for part of it, as a decentralized conversation with all of us. Here we go. I'm going to be talking to you about CBDCs, something that's going to impact all of us, whether we like it or not. Governments, oops, I was about to give you information. So let me find out from you, who knows what a CBDC is? Just put your hand up if you know what a CBDC is. Okay, and who hasn't heard of a CBDC? You haven't heard? And then who doesn't put their hand up when invited to do so? Because some people didn't. Well, you're not going to put your hand up if you don't, if you're that kind of person. Okay. So who would like to say, what is a CBDC? Sorry, yeah, yes, please. Your name is?
Kushi.
Sorry?
Kushi Thakur.
Kushita. Oh, what is a CBDC, Kushi?
CBDC is a centralized bank digital currency. So that's a digital currency that is supported by a bank.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a very good note, working very efficiently. Thank you. A central bank digital currency. Now, if I say that, do you know what that is? Does it become more familiar for anybody? Central bank digital currency? Okay, so it's being launched and designed by central banks. And within a decentralized industry, what do we think about central banks? Good? Neutral or bad? Indicate with your thumbs, please. No, you're going to send me that packet of data. Neutral? Bad? Anybody got good? Neutral? Okay. All right. No goods. Okay. Good, neutral, or don't want to say. And then it's a digital currency. Well, who here does internet banking already? Probably, I assume all of us, right? So those are digital currencies. What's distinct about a central bank digital currency? Who's willing to say? Which node will send out the information for that? So did you have your hand up?
The CDBC will control the network infrastructure related to this digital currency. Means they will know everything.
Yes, well, we'll come to that, right? But it's a digital currency, but it's not like an internet banking digital currency. What's distinct about a digital currency? Max?
The liability of a central bank.
It's the liability of a central bank. Very good. I hadn't thought of that one. See, that's the value of a decentralized network, because the group is much smarter than me. So what's distinct about this type of digital currency? Yes, Kenny? Programmable, yes. But before that, it's a blockchain. Hands up if you've heard of blockchain. Anybody here, you got an idea of blockchain? Some of you haven't got your hand up. You're just being shy with me. You're thinking I'm going to pick you out. All right, so it's a blockchain, a central bank digital currency. Now, what's the advantages of a blockchain? Who's going to say? Any blockchain. What's the advantage of a blockchain? Immutable. Immutable. What else? Transparent. Secure. Distributed. Yeah, it's just the blockchain. So the banks are taking Bitcoin's core technology and they're going to invent a currency for us all to use. Isn't that great? No. Hold on. We'll come to that, right? What are the benefits, as far as they're concerned, about central bank digital currency? What's great about a central bank digital currency?
Negative interest rates.
Okay, how is that great? Thank you, Max.
Not for the central bank.
Yes, for the bank. Right. Very good. Negative interest rates, which means you pay them. That's great from a bank's perspective. It's going to cost us. What else is great about? What else do they say is great about central bank digital currency?
Limited supply.
Limited supply. Yeah.
No.
They say that. These fiat currencies are in limited supply. Let's see how long that lasts. But okay. Yes. What else about a central bank?
You can hold someone accountable.
You can hold someone accountable. It's also convenient. It's just convenient. It'll come to a point where I don't need to pull out a wallet or anything. I can just scan my hand. It's connected to me, nobody else. So, I can just pay for my taxi like this, pay for food like this, maybe an iris scan, don't need to carry anything about. I've got a chip implanted under my skin somewhere. How convenient is that? Convenient, secure, you can trust the government, you can trust banks, ease of use. Hands up if you would love to have a central bank digital currency. You can't wait. Okay. You all gone shy now? Let me ask you the question differently. Hands up if you think central bank digital currencies. Hell no. Okay. And then hands up if you don't put your hands up. Thank you. Thank you. I can see that about you as well. All right. So we've talked about the benefits of a central bank digital currency. What are the disadvantages of a central bank digital currency?
Energy consuming.
Energy consuming, okay.
You are not the owner of your own assets. They can just take it off from you.
They can take. So if there's a central bank digital currency, I don't own the assets. They can. How would that work? How does that work?
You trust them.
Well, it's centralized. It is centralized. Thank you. And there's a counterparty risk because I'm entrusting the central bank's network. So whenever there's a counterparty risk, then the assets aren't my own. It's not like my Bitcoin in my pocket. Okay, what else? What are the other drawbacks of a central bank digital? I haven't finished my question, but I appreciate this is a fast note. Thank you.
They control your financials.
They
can
control.
Close your account.
Close my account, control my financials, and what was the last thing?
But they can close your account without your consent.
Close my account. Banks would never do anything like that. Come on. Come on, why would they? You wouldn't do anything, not without good reason anyway, unless you're a bad person. They would only do it then. I'll come to you in a second, Max. There was somebody here, yes?
I think the big concern is about economy. The value of these currencies will be stable because the capital not be like based on how volumes, it's based on how we can mint more.
Right. Because the temptation will be to print more, so that'll make it volatile. Okay, Max?
Surveillance, capital controls, and enforcement of the political agenda based into the money itself.
Oh, how wonderful. So there you are now the ruler of a country, and you're in charge of the central bank. And you say to the central bank, issue this currency. It's programmable, by the way. And then there's a conference for the opponent's party. And then you can see Max, I know Max, by the way, I met him just before here. We've corresponded before over Telegram. Max, he's going to the conference of the opponent's party. We can't be having that because the central bank digital currency allows for every single transaction to be surveilled. The bank will know what you're spending money on, when you're spending it, where you're spending it, and they'll be able to control it. So we'll program it. They can control it so that we take a little bit, just 0.25% every day out of your wallet. Every day. Oh, who here likes steak? Come on, it ain't just me. I'm putting my hand up for real, right? Come on, put your hand up if steak is good. Oh my, you've had too much steak this week. Sorry, you can't use your currency to buy steak. You will have to eat the bugs and be happy. By the way, that is one of the projects that are being rolled out. Okay, so somebody else will have complete control over your finances. Somebody else will have complete control. They'll be able to surveil everything you spend money on, who you exchange with. They can take money out without consent every now and then, regularly or occasionally. Yes?
Why do you think central bank wants to control that?
Why do central banks?
Why do you think central banks they want to have more control on finance?
Right. That's a very good question. I'm going to put it to the network. Why do you think central banks want to have more control over our finances?
Because they already have.
Because they already have control?
They don't want to lose it.
They don't want to lose it?
Security.
Sorry? Security? Whose security? Politicians' security. That's right. Because along comes Satoshi Nakamoto with Bitcoin. Imagine if you in your chair as a node had the ability to issue a currency that determined economic relations, financial exchange in that entire society. Oh my God, like you'd be able to print gold. How much power would you have? And then to be able to extract.
Can I have a clue also?
Sorry?
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to add. By the way, also the establishment of the digital assets is much cheaper than establishment of the paper.
Very good. Thank you so much. So it's more efficient for the central banks. Way more efficient for central banks and for governments, because governments gets to a point where governments just want to control people. Yes?
Right now, Bitcoin transaction will be around 1 to 2 years to finish.
Sorry, say that again?
Right now, Bitcoin transaction almost take 1 or 2 days.
A normal transaction, yes. And with the central bank digital currency, it'll be much quicker. Yeah, so it's much, much faster. It is convenient, yes, it will have that. Thank you. Okay, now this talk, what I'm going to talk about is the antidote to CBDCs. So CBDCs are centralized, so there's counterparty risk, total surveillance, programmable by another party. So if we were to have an antidote, what are the qualities of the antidote?
Centralized, immutable, permissionless.
Sorry, say that again. Decentralized, immutable, and permissionless. Very good. So the antidote is going to be decentralized. Why is it going to be decentralized? That's right. So yeah, it's hard to control a decentralized network. It's really, really hard. It's robust. It doesn't have a point of weakness. So that's why it's decentralized, and of course immutable because then you can't change it. And what was the other one you said? Permissionless. Why is it important for it to be permissionless?
So you can eat your steak whenever you want?
I can eat my steak whenever I want. So I don't need the permission of any other agency, any other authority to be able to use it. Because that way I give away my power. Plus that requires some element of centralization. What else do we want a antidote to a CBDC? Permissionless, immutable, decentralized, what else? Open. Sorry? Open network. Yep, an open network, very good. So open source, people are going to be able to see the code, that nobody's doing any little tricks or manipulations behind the scenes.
I would go with censorship resistant, trust minimized, confiscation resistant, governance free, politically neutral, borderless, inclusive, accessible, sovereign, and sustainable.
Very good, very good. Now, I would say all of those apply to Bitcoin.
We can talk after.
But okay, there's one thing missing that people haven't said.
Privacy.
Do you know how sometimes nodes, they misbehave? Non-custodial, absolutely. That. But there's two things that people haven't said. Thank you. And then I can check out. I think some of the nodes are putting in a bit of extra work. Yes. Democratized. Okay.
Limited supply.
Limited supply, limited supply. Why? Deflationary, because otherwise it'll just run off and go forever, right? Okay. So, let me see if I can remember all of this. Permissionless. Sorry? Okay. By the way, I don't. This is my notes, but I haven't really looked at them. So here goes. Permissionless, immutable. What was the first one? Decentralized, of course. Decentralized, permissionless, immutable, private, open source, limited supply. Anything else I've missed out?
Trustless.
Self-custodial.
Trustless.
Trustless, borderless.
Politically neutral.
Politically neutral. Very good. Okay. Which cryptocurrencies come to mind that have those features? I have one in mind, right? But there may be others.
Epic.
Epic, okay, Epic is one. I don't know much about Epic. What else? Is Epic proof of stake or proof of work? Proof of work, okay. What else? Anybody heard of a cryptocurrency called Monero?
Yeah.
Yeah? Put your hand up if you heard of Monero.
Yeah, but it makes it all fiat.
Sorry?
Monero is
Monero is connected. Yes, Monero. Now, Monero is great cryptocurrency. However, it doesn't have limited supply. It has constant declining emission rate. Now, the other one, and I have to confess, I have a confession to make. I am one of the team of Pirate Chain. Pirate Chain is fully decentralized, no ICO, no pre-mine, proof of work. Each transaction is completely private, protected by ZK Snarks, which is I'm told, a more secure, more private technology than used by Monero. It's permissionless, it's borderless, it's complete. It can't be captured because it uses a particular methodology called 51% proof of stake, 51% delegated proof of power. Delegate, do you know what? I've been told I need to hurry up. And I just lost my frame of thought. So I've run over time, so I apologize to you all. Okay? So it uses a particular methodology, delegated proof of work, which means that it can't be, it's impossible to capture 51% of the supply. It was launched in 2018. Volunteer run, no dev fund, no team fund. When Pirate Chain gets, I'm a volunteer for the team at Pirate Chain, I'm a first name. When Pirate Chain gets listed on an exchange, we ask the community for donations because we have no money. So permissionless, open source, decentralized, no backers, robust, immutable, permissible. And the website is piratechain.com. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And I wish I could, share some comments on what CryptoRed said, because that was definitely an amazing session. And I saw everybody was enthralled and engaged. So that I'm hoping that you all got good knowledge about what could be an antidote to CBDCs.
Hi everyone. I know it's already late.
So we try to do the best out of it. But it's a talk, yeah? They change so often the program that I don't know what I should do. Hmm? 2 minutes. Talking about what? Okay, lightning talk. So, as you can see, I'm a bit unprepared. So let's do it in a different way. At least I'm honest. I would like to ask the audience who they want to like to hear about me. You can ask me everything. Maybe short introduction. If people don't know me, then you can ask the questions. So, 2019, I invested in a company Iconic Holding in Germany. We were now issuing a full regulated Bitcoin ETF to the German stock market. I came to Dubai. We tried to do the same here. It didn't work out. So I was the first one by the DFSA asking for regulating of an ETN instead of an ETF. Then I was managing director for CB Labs and CVC for the MENA region. I set up the DFC Crypto Center. I incubated the first 1,200 companies. With Ahmed bin Salah, I was co-founder and shareholder by Crypto86. Then I set up Helion Capital. Now we are making our own regulated products. We have a Luxembourg hedge fund, and as well we still are an accelerator and venture builder in Dubai. I have only 48 seconds left. One question, please.
As an investor, 2 or 3 top advices to startups or anyone who is looking for investment, what do you want to hear to be convinced?
Vision, team, and no copy paste. Yeah, unfortunately, most of the projects which we get, especially from blockchain and crypto, are copy paste projects, and if you're not interested, we have approximately 200 projects every month. They are qualified, and the end is maybe 10 or 12, and the rest, unfortunately, we have to keep by side. One more question, please, come on. So tired.
What kind of measurements one must take before getting into this platform?
Actually, we open investing. We will bring one of our IPOs to the local stock exchange. It's 200 million in September. It's healthcare blockchain. Yeah, but we're also investing in startups. We just made an investment of $25,000. One more question.
What's your prediction on the RWA investment from the capitals, venture capitals? Like, are they focusing on RWA companies? Or
yeah, we are not a pure venture capitalist. So I raised last year 40 million for Helion Ventures with my previous company. I sold it. Now I have Helion Capital. So principally, I think it's very thematic. Yeah. Next question. One more question. Come on.
How are you?
You're too tired. Yes, please.
How do horses connect to you? What's the connection with horses and you?
Well, it's a very private question, but I want to answer it.
Well, I was about to ask you.
Yeah. Well, I was 2 times married. Horses were always true and loyal to me. That's what she said. You see, I also answered this question honestly. Any more questions? Yes, please.
Which stage you are investing? You prefer to invest?
So actually, principally, we are not a, as I said, we're not a VC. We're not just investing. We're only investing if we can bring additional value to the companies. So this means really, where, for example, now we took one IPO mandate, it's an M&A IPO mandate. It's a family office. We restructure the family office. We do a debt financing. We bring equity in for the growth. And 2025, hopefully, we bring it here to the SCA on the stock exchange. So principally, we're investing in everything, but only under the permission we can bring additional value in. Anyone else? One more question. Do I have 15 seconds? No. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
So my name is Mike. I'm a founder of SFTY.AI. Actually, what we are doing, we are helping the business to be compliant, crypto business to be compliant. I hope actually it will be much better if we will communicate with each other. I want to ask you a few questions, and please don't be shy to answer them. What do you know about KYTs. What is that? Is there somebody who knows something about KYT? No. This is a small little process which is done by any kind of exchange or any central entity that needs to be regulated to check out your transaction, your crypto funds, with one simple purpose. This is anti-money laundering process where they need to establish the money origin across your crypto. In the case if your crypto was involved in some particular suspicious activity, your funds could be blocked. And you have no opportunity to unblock them anyhow. And there is a question. Can somebody shake a hand here who knows where the funds that belongs their wallet come from? Is there anybody who made email checks on their transactions on the wallet or the transaction activity? No one. Oh, Pekka? Sometimes, yeah? Right. Actually, there is a little bug on the regulation. During the process of anti-IML, when the exchange or any kind of entity need to check your transaction, they don't care where you get these funds, and they don't care how suspicious they are. They don't care how you get them. Maybe it's legally, maybe absolutely not. Anyway, they can be blocked. So the purpose of this short term was the wish for all of you to be safe. I mean, in accordance to a transaction. And second of all, to check your funds before you are receiving them and the wallets that it is incorporated with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If there is any questions, please don't be shy to ask.
We have a lot of trophies available over here. What is it all about? Well, we're strangers to this concept. A couple of years ago, we did something online. Around that time, it was the COVID wave. Clubhouse was a thing. Twitter Spaces. Prior to Twitter Spaces, we had this thing called Clubhouse. We did a show over there. 48 hours nonstop, word of the mouth marketing. About 1,000 people showed up. We called it back then the NFT Superstars Award. Now, in that award, we have 10 categories within the NFT space. We only celebrated the NFT space. But over here, we wanted to expand towards the different sectors of Web3. Each and every single one of them representing a crown jewel, looking like a crown jewel over here. Representing something from the Web3 industry, right? But before we do that, let us have a look at the categories. First, we have Web3 Superstars Award, Emerging Web3 Entrepreneur of the Year. Okay, self-explanatory. Let's keep them, bring them in one by one. The second one, NFT Superstars 2024. We had 10 of these a couple of years ago. We just saturated it this year to one category. NFTs are celebrated in one go over here. Third one, Promising DAO 2024. Well, DAOs are an integral part of NFTs, and I know certain people are claiming that every Web3 company one day is going to be a DAO. Wise men said that. Okay, here you go. All right, what do you have over here? Looky. Unique, innovative, utility 2024. Again, we have one of these categories, utility NFTs. But again, we're focusing on projects that has innovative utility. The last one. We saved the best for the last. Emerging Web3 project of 2024. The dark horse, people who just started, or people who have potential to grow. These are the 5 categories. I'm sorry?
One slide, please.
Okay. Did we tell you this categories? Okay, no worries. But we have these 5 categories. Which one are we gonna unveil the next one? Let's see. Okay. Emerging Web3 Entrepreneur of the Year. And this one goes to, all the way from Hong Kong. Please get your hands together for Mr. Leo Chow from Siriusnet.
Greetings everyone. I'm Leon, founder of Siriusnet Institute. My company built up a blockchain connect with those traditional games and then let those players earn their income through our blockchain. We also built up a cost-tree which can allow some company they can bring more value to their own blockchain. And that's it.
How inside jokes he practicing English, but you like the award? You like the color? Okay. Enjoy it.
All right. Can we please get a couple of pictures, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's have a look at the next category. We used to have a script for these awards. Not the Oscar kind. I don't know if that was scripted or not. The next slide, please. Promising DAO 2024. Now, I personally believe DAOs are the future of Web3. As a journalist, I've been covering it for a while. I believe in my podcast, whenever I talk about it, people do have some passion instilled in their answer. That says something. And Promising DAO 2024 goes to
any guesses? Okay.
Let me find your reward. Where is it? Where's that one? Yeah, there you go. It's waiting for your reward here. This beauty.
Hey, come in center and then. All right.
Okay, there you go.
Give us paparazzi some time, please. Okay, one more.
Okay, here's the photogenic one.
Awesome. So thank you very much for inviting me to represent SwissAsset DAO. Thank you for the audience. It's really been a pleasure. I think I'm the unfortunate gentleman who says that every project will be a DAO. So we're one of the first. I hope we're not the last. And maybe in a year or so, we have many more DAOs to the stage. So thank you very much for all of that.
What is the next one? Emerging Web3 projects. Do we have the categories over here? Okay, Emerging Web3 project of 2024 goes to BabylonChain. Madam Charlie, what do you think?
Award first. Sort of award.
Sorry.
First of all, thank you everyone for organizing a lovely event. Hedera, Coin Republic, they're the organizers. We're so very happy to receive this award. Babylon is an amazing project. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here. We have an amazing community. You literally, when I speak to a lot of community folks, founders, VCs, and when I don't need to introduce Babylon, my job is done as a marketer. Babylon is bringing Bitcoin security to proof of stake chains. And why that is fabulous is because our vision really is we don't want Bitcoin and POS chains just to exist. We want them to thrive together. and we want Bitcoin to be the security backbone for proof of stake chains. Yeah, thank you very much.
Can you stay on stage for a couple of pitches and with you actually giving her the award? That would be great. Okay. One more. Shalini looks great in the pictures. I can say the same about you, sir.
Yeah, I know. I take that as a compliment sometimes. Which one is the next one? Which one is the next one? All right, NFT Superstars 2024, ladies and gentlemen, please. One, again, as I said a couple of years ago, was the award. It was called the award a couple of years ago. This year, this is just a category, but it's a coveted one, and it goes to Sphera World NFTs. And I have Mr. Muhammad on the stage here.
So hold it on one side, let them hold the other side. Let's take the picture.
Crown jewels. Thank you.
And one more, a close up. One more.
Couple of words.
Thank you. Thanks again for inviting me and giving us this opportunity. It's such an honor. We hope to make Sphera World the biggest Web3 project after Dubai, out of the Middle East. Everybody is welcome to participate. You can go to SpheraWorld.com, and if you need to reach me, you can use Telegram. My handle is Deca4. So if there is anything we can do, and we're building again on Hedera. We're very excited. My team is currently in Dallas presenting this project tomorrow, and so far we have been quite successful in building a good community within the Hedera ecosystem, and eventually it will be a multi-chain as well. So any question, any support is highly appreciated, and thank you very much.
Well deserved, sir. Thank you for being here. We're going to the final category here, so don't worry, you can get to your dinner after this one. Unique, innovative utility. Utility in the core word over here. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the winner of the final Web3 Superstars Award presented to you by the Corn Republic. I have to put in the show over there, okay? And it goes to Celo. We have Mr. PK on stage. This goes for their carbon neutrality and environmental sustainability efforts, by the way. There you go.
Can we grab a couple of pictures?
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. I've spoken enough about Celo, so I'll keep this short. Thank all the organizers and everyone who's come in to be here. Thank you so much for your time. And we're accepting this award on behalf of all the projects and the labs that are being built on Celo. Everyone who participates in the ecosystem. They're the ones who really driving the change. So thanks everyone.
These awards are chosen by independent jury panel members outside of our reach, and they chose based on first impression. I know these 5 categories cannot encapsulate the entire Web3. Maybe we're going to bring in some new categories next year. I want to ask each and every single one of the winners to meet me at the media booth after this to get a 1-minute bite. Also, the speakers who missed an opportunity to speak here, I apologize personally. It's because of the time we couldn't afford to have you here. I mean, no disrespect. But again, to make it up, we got a media booth over there. We got a good camera and a microphone. We're going to get your bite. We're going to get your side of the story and put it on the socials. So meet me over there, take a couple of pictures, and have a video. So yeah, man.
Guys, can we get a big round of applause for each and every one here in the room? Alright, thank you guys. I have to say that this has been one of the most beautiful audiences I've had the pleasure to host in the past 10 months. And trust me, we have hosted almost 2 events every month. So I cannot thank you enough for how patiently you listened to all the knowledge that was being shared here, but more importantly, you guys were great engagers too. Everybody was responsive, everybody was engaging, and we cannot thank you enough for that. With that being said, if you want to connect with any of the sponsors, and if you are looking to join us as a speaker at a future events, or if you just want to share event feedback and your feedback helps us grow, please take the event survey. Once again, I am grateful for every single person who beat the UAE traffic and got to this place in time. There are people who are flying internationally. I am extremely obliged for their time. I am very grateful for each and every one of you in this room. At the same time, remember we are not event organizers, so we try to put our best foot forward. With that being said, of course, there are going to be some flaws. So I'm also thankful that you guys didn't give us a hard time for the flaws. But I also want to apologize for anything that we missed. At the end of the day though, I hope that you all will walk back with at least one new piece of information, at least one new connection, and that way this evening would have been a good, fruitful evening for all of you.